Bonjour! Aujourd'hui, je vais vous glisser quelques mots sur un des axes de ma plateforme, l'impôt négatif sur le revenu. Je vais vous parler de comment cet impôt va fonctionner, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire concrètement pour vous, comment j'entends le financer, et qui en bénéficie le plus. So, let's take a look at how the negative income tax will work. The government will send out non-taxable checks totaling $7,500 a year to each qualifying individual. We would start this out with permanent residents between the ages of 18 and retirement not pursuing their first post-secondary degree or diploma. People who fall outside of this range will be exempt from the 24% tax. This is not a departure from the current system, which through a series of deductions allows most students to pay nearly zero income tax. It simply formalizes the status quo while saving costs from collecting tax and giving it back. A 24% tax will then be applied on all other income. Currently, there are certain types of income that are tax exemptable. To start off, these exemptions will be kept. However, as the negative income tax takes root, these incomes might be brought into the overall tax system. The 24% will be collected directly from paychecks. There would barely be any need for adjustments in April, saving you a lot of worry. These clear guidelines will make the delivery of the checks automatic and will decrease the necessity for the extensive bureaucracy that oversees our current welfare system. The system is flexible and qualifications can be changed depending on social needs. So for example, if in the future post-secondary costs grew out of proportion, we would bring students into the tax system. Since the $7,500 would be non-taxable, this would be equivalent to a tuition grant.
Let's draw out what the tax will look like. This graph is for purely representative purposes and will not be drawn to scale. Also, programs such as disability assistance, which will be kept, are not shown on this graph. Now, along the bottom, we have income that you earn from work, and along the side is what you get to keep after taxes. The straight line represents a world with no taxes. Under the current system, you don't pay tax on the first $9,600 of income, and then you pay a different tax rate depending on how much you earn after that. With my tax, everyone gets $7,500, whether they're working or not, and then are taxed at the same rate, 24%. Notice the intersection point, $31,250. That's as if though you lived in a world with no tax. Before that, you actually end up with more money after taxes than you get from work. Afterwards, you pay a positive tax rate that slowly picks up. The highest income earners, to whom the $7,500 makes little difference, pay near the net 24%.
At first, this seems like an expensive program, giving everyone $7,500. But you have to consider that the real cost is the difference between the $7,500 and additional tax raised. Our system is filled with a lot of credits, which can be at best arbitrary and at worst regressive. For example, if you put your child in one organized sports league, but your neighbor puts theirs in one that's recognized by Revenue Canada, your neighbor pays less tax. My system would eliminate discriminatory credits to help pay for the broad cuts. Also, there would be the savings from the decreased bureaucracy that we mentioned earlier. Furthermore, in the mid-1990s, welfare was transferred from the federal government to the provinces. I believe we can work together between the two levels of government to decide on a system of cost sharing that works. So who does this system help? As we saw from the graph, it clearly has a greater effect on low-income earners than high-income earners. It is also better than welfare because under the current welfare system, government payment is phased out with earned income, causing you to work a lot more for very little extra money. My proposal guarantees the $7,500 minimum income, letting you become better off without having to work very many extra hours. This is especially important considering recent economic trends that have shown a high increase in the number of part-time jobs. And speaking of part-time jobs, one of the groups that is most hurt by the current system are single parents, who can't afford to work full-time while raising their children. The system confines them to a cycle of poverty that their children then grow up into. I'll leave you with this thought. Under my proposal, a single parent working just 22 hours a week at only $8.50 an hour would end up with $15,000 a year. The current system allows him or her to earn just a few $100s above the welfare check. This is not right. J'espère que ces quelques mots vous auront permis de faire une idée plus claire de mes mesures fiscales et de pouvoir en discuter davantage avec vos amis, votre famille et vos collègues. Merci de m'avoir écouté aujourd'hui et joignez-vous à notre prochain rendez-vous où je vous expliquerai ce que je propose pour les affaires étrangères et pour obtenir un Canada plus simple avec les politiques que nous comprenons tous. Merci et thank you.